don't even know why we're here. I don't need therapy.
You don't know why we're here?
No.
Are you serious? Last night you asked me if I wanted to see your Pixel, and then you called me your little Snapdragon. I mean, how many phones do you have on you right now?
A few.
How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that all? 6. See what I mean? We've got 4 doorbells on our front door right now.
It's 5.
Seriously?
It's 5.
You see what I mean?
I don't have time for this. I just don't have time for this. Was that the new Pixel 9 Pro XL? Who's gonna pay for this bill? What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Donny B here. I have been using the Pixel Pro XL for a couple weeks now. Specifically the pink one, because this one's going to Miss Lauren when we're done. But when I first heard about the whole Team Pixel controversy, how they weren't going to send devices to anyone that talked trash about it or compared it to another device in a less than favorable manner, I just knew I was going to roast this thing. I couldn't wait for it to come in, and I was just going to shred it to pieces. But I can't, because I love it. It's incredible. And actually this video was going to be, I switched to Pixel for a month or a week or whatever, but they haven't shipped out all the devices at the same time. It's been actually kind of annoying. The watch won't be here till next week. The buds won't be here till the end of the month. The first thing I got was the doorbell, then the Nest thermostat, which that video is coming. But today we're talking about the Pixel Pro XL. I guess we're talking about the Pixel Pro because they're both spec'd out the same. This is just a little bit bigger. It's 6.8 inches, and it is the exact same size as a S24 Ultra, but with the corners cut off. And first thing you notice when you take it out of the box is how flat this thing is. I mean, it is just incredibly flat all the way around. The sides, the back, the camera bar, the screen, everything is extremely flat. It feels really good in the hand with the corners curved like that. That's one complaint I had about this phone, is it feels good in the hand too, but that corner is sharp. So you hold it long enough and you get a little dent in your hand. But one thing I really like about it is the matte finish on the back. It is a glass slab, but it is completely fingerprint resistant. You just can't see a single fingerprint on it. Even the camera bar is a satin finish. It just looks nice. It feels premium. It feels like a flagship phone should feel. I didn't get that with other Pixel devices. The 8 was okay, but this one, just the weight, the feel, it screams flagship. Now, I wish I could say the same thing about the sides on the fingerprints. These are polished, and all the Pro versions are going to be polished. You can just see how many fingerprints are on it now. Believe the base model is satin around the edge, but the Pros are going to be polished. And I am constantly wiping this thing down. But most of you probably won't even have to deal with that because you're going to have it in a case. Like I said, it is a 6.8 inch, extremely flat display. It's LTPO, adaptive refresh, 120 hertz, 1440p, but by default it's turned to 1080. 3000 nit brightness, extremely bright. You'll have no issue seeing this in direct sunlight. I do wish they kind of would have went with the approach that Samsung took with the anti-reflective on the S24 Ultra, but the brightness is nice. You'll have no issues looking at the screen in direct sunlight. Underneath the display, we finally have the ultrasonic fingerprint reader. I've been a huge fan of that since the Samsung S10. They've been doing it for a long time. Google finally got on board. I'm glad to see that they ditched the optical fingerprint reader. It was okay. It just wasn't very fast, wasn't very reliable. This is super fast, super reliable. You do have to have always on display turned on for you to not have to wake it first. It won't do it from a black screen. You have to wake the screen first. But just look how fast this is. Boom. I wish you could tap to lock it. Super fast. Like the Samsung, you could, from the black screen, you just tap it, and if you want to lock it back, you just double tap it. Tap it, unlock, double tap. That's the little things that I like so much about One UI. You know, it's so many little things that's just hard to explain to somebody that's not a Samsung user, but it's the little things like that, just to double tap to lock your phone back. Anyway, this is a Pixel review. So the current generation of tensor chip is the G4. Not a huge performance gain. It's pretty comparable to last year. They do say that it's geared more towards processing the AI task. There's also 16 gigs of RAM in both Pro models, the Pro and the Pro XL. The base model is 12 gigs of RAM, but the 16 gigs, there's a large portion of that is set aside just for processing AI. And there's a ton of AI going on this, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. Battery is just over 5,000 milliamp. I think it's 5,060. You won't have any issues with battery life, and I'll give you a good example. So I only have one SIM card, and I have it in this phone. So this one's been piggybacking off the hotspot. So I had the hotspot on all day yesterday. Bluetooth headphones paired. A full day of use. Last night when I laid down to go to bed at 11 o'clock, I had 53% battery left. So I started the day out at 100% at 4:30 in the morning, and I finished the day at 53%. That is impressive. But Pixels always start out strong. They always start out strong. That's probably the number one thing I hear Lauren complain about with all her Pixels is this months later, a few software updates later, the battery life degradation is real. Don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a tensor thing. I don't know if it's a software draining it, but it's always degraded over time. Maybe we won't get that with this one, but it's always been a Pixel thing. The software has always gotten worse and more bugs, more. I'm really pulling for this one. I hope it doesn't, but as of right now, battery life is incredible. All right, so one big complaint is right out of the box, this thing is running Android 14. You want to know what else is running Android 14? This guy from the beginning of the year. I read on Android Authority that Android 15 will be releasing in October. We don't know when in October. If it's the end of October, that's 2 months away at the filming of this video. So maybe it'll be closer to the first of the month, but usually by October, the Samsung series is getting the Android update. I don't know. I guess there's some bugs. Hopefully there's not any battery drain issues, but I guess I'd rather them take their time and get it right before they release it. My Pixel tablet is running Android 15 beta right now, and it's not really buggy. Well, I guess there's a few bugs when it comes to the smart home devices, but that's neither here nor there. We'll talk about that later. One big surprise is that the temperature sensor that you find in the corner of the camera bar, it's now rated for human use. So one thing that you have to do every single time that you use it, you have to put in the age. So the age range is from 0 to 3 months, 3 to 36 months, and then 3 years plus. So you hit that, and then you hit the button to measure, and you slide it from the center of your forehead to your temple. So it's super easy. It's actually pretty accurate. Now you put it here, and then we'll go. .2. I mean, I've actually got a funny story about this, and I'm hoping Lauren comes in the door as I'm telling this. She should be pulling up any minute. But years ago, matter of fact, she switched from the iPhone 5C to the Pixel 3, and we were looking for a thermometer. And I told her, I said, you know, your phone will take your temperature. Just hold it to your forehead. And she's like, I'm not buying it. I said, I'm serious. Just hold it to your forehead, and it'll tell you what your temperature is. And she's over there doing this, and the kids are in on it, and we're just dying laughing. And she's like, I knew it. And so when I told her that this phone will genuinely take her temperature, she said, BS, I'm not buying it. And I had to show her. So, I don't know. Funny story. Let her know in the comments that it... Let her know in the comments that it legitimately will take your temperature now. Camera hardware is almost exactly the same as last year, with the exception of the ultra wide. It's now 48 megapixels. It's actually bending that same 12 megapixels last year into 48 megapixels. One thing that does kind of irk me with the 50 megapixel 5x telephoto, you can't use that in portrait mode. The most you can get in portrait mode is 3 times, and you actually have to hit 2 times telephoto and then pinch the zoom a little bit, and it'll take you to 3. If you're into super sharp and contrasty and punchy images, then you're going to absolutely love this. I mean, that's what Pixel's known for, is its computational photography. But I think this is really processed more for just taking a quick pic and then sending it to social media. You can shoot in RAW, I don't think they really want you to, because the fact that you have to actually dig through the settings to get to RAW. And even when you do have RAW turned on, it's going to give you a JPEG that's processed and a RAW image for editing. Comparing it to Samsung, you can kind of see where the Pixel is exposing more for the highlights, where Samsung's kind of exposing for the shadows. The front-facing selfie cam is now 42 megapixels, and it can shoot up to 4K 30. No complaints here. It's actually a really good image. The portrait mode can be kind of hit or miss sometimes, especially if you have a lot of flyaway hairs like I do. Sometimes they get caught up in there, but you can see here where I did a comparison with the Samsung S24 Ultra, and I mean the Pixel really blows out the background. The Samsung does look a lot more realistic. I don't really care for that whole ultra processed look, but you know, some people like it. I'm sure you've already heard about this next feature from all the other videos, but it's called Add Me. And what it is if you are wanting to take a group shot and don't want to hand your phone off to a stranger, or don't have anybody else around that can take the photo, you can take the photo with people already in it and then swap with somebody, and it will leave them in that frame while you go get in and they size it up to you. It does take a little bit of practice. It's not easy, but it's not hard. But when it works, it works. It works pretty dang good. It's one of those things like, how could they not do this sooner? You know, in HDR mode, they're stacking photos all the time. They're taking 3-5 shots and stacking them up, and that's essentially all this is just photo stacking. It's so simple that it's difficult, but it's so simple that, like, why haven't they done this sooner? I'm glad they did. We had a lot of fun playing with it. I'll just be throwing photos up over here. I did put some on my Instagram too, if you want to go check that out. Alright, so here's the video that you can expect to get out of the Pixel 9 Pro. I guess the Pro and the XL. We're using built-in audio, rear-facing microphone. We're just going to walk. Right now we're in direct sunlight. It is... it's 2 o'clock. It's the brightest part of the day almost. So we're in direct sunlight right now. I'm sure it's doing an excellent job of exposing for my face because the dynamic range is incredible on this camera. So we're just gonna walk down this path and we'll go in and out of the shadows and just see how the exposure changes on our face. Also, I forgot to mention the pricing whenever I was in the studio recording this. So base price for the XL, which is the one that we're testing, is $10.99. And that is with 128 gigs of storage. Now it goes all the way up to 1 terabyte, but you can only get 1 terabyte in the Obsidian, the black one, and that's going to set you back $1,549. Yep, $1,500 Pixel. That's crazy. Although I do feel like it's finally reached that level of premium that it's worth every bit of that. That's still a lot of money. I mean, you can get the flagship, you know, S24 Ultra for just a little bit less than that. So still a great device. Also, if you do want to go with the pink, you can only get that in a 256 gig, and that's going to set you back $11.99. So it goes $10.99 for 128, $11.99 for 256, $13.99 for 512, and $15.49 for the 1 terabyte. Pretty expensive devices. I remember when a brand new phone would cost you $400 or $500. All right, right now we're out of the sun, we're in the shadows. How's it doing exposing for my face? Pretty good. All right, we'll go over here, we'll get back in the sun. It's a little bit overcast, it's in and out. Really what I find to be the most important out of anything is audio. And you know, no matter what phone you get nowadays, whether it's an iPhone, a Samsung, a Google, they're all gonna have good audio. All right, here's the sun coming back out. So is it exposing properly? Also, how about that stabilization? Isn't that awesome? Now look, we're gonna go backlit. Is it focusing pretty good on backlit? Any flares? All right, we'll go back in the shade. I'm not kidding when I genuinely mean that I'm gonna miss this phone whenever I give it back to Lauren. Today's my last day with it. I told her, just, you know, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get a little B-roll and I'm gonna take some photos with it one last time, and then I'm gonna hand it back. You know, I mentioned that the alarm clock was awesome on this phone because you could add Google routines. And I went and downloaded the Google alarm clock app on my Samsung just so I could have that routines feature. I was really surprised to see that SmartThings did not have that. But as of right now, we're using the Google alarm clock on the S24 Ultra. All right, here we are backlit. I'm turning around. Again, the dynamic range on this is just absolutely incredible. All right, now we're on the front-facing 42 megapixel selfie cam, recording 4K 30. Also, that previous clip was also 4K 30. And we're also on the front-facing microphone now. So how's that audio quality? The stability is a little, it could be better. But what can you expect from such a tiny camera? Actually, the stabilization is actually pretty horrible. See if I can do better. Also, side note, if you do plan to seriously shoot video with this phone, the Blackmagic app works incredibly well. I mean, it gives you full manual controls over ISO, white balance, shutter speed, focusing points. It fits really, really well. Now it's time for the star of the show, Gemini AI. This literally got more attention than any of the hardware did at the Made by Google event. This is now by default the assistant on the Pixel 9 series. I've been using it for quite a while and it has come a long way. Now you can do routines, you can control smart home devices, you can even use it for Google Maps. A few months ago, it wouldn't even do that efficiently. There's also Gemini Live now. If any of you have ever paid for the AI subscription to Google One, then you've already seen it, you've already had it, but it comes pre-installed for free on the Pixel 9 series. Don't know how long that's going to be free. I know Samsung's talking about charging for their AI features in 2025. Don't see why Google would do it any differently. But anyway, there's no prompts. You just talk to it. It listens, it responds. It's really, really good. You do have to press this button here at the bottom to activate it. But after that, you just talk. And if you interrupt it, it will quiet down and listen and respond. Let's just start. Hey Gemini, what are you up to?
Hey there. I'm always learning new things and getting better at having conversations. What can I help you with today?
Well, I was just recording a video on the Pixel 9 Pro XL and just wondering if you would say hello to my YouTube audience.
Sure thing. Let's record a quick hello. All right, here it is. Hey everyone, Gemini here.
Hi.
Hey there. Hey, so I'm not able to access the internet and keep my response consistent with the current time.
It's
what can
okay.
I do for you?
Well, can you tell me how much the Canon R5 Mark II with the 28 to 70 weighs?
It's a bit tricky for me to find the exact price of that camera right now. Do you want me to check for the Canon R5 Mark II body, or are you looking for something else?
I want you to tell me how much that camera weighs with the RF 28 to 70 f2 lens on it.
All right, sounds like you're trying to figure out the weight for your next video shoot. The Canon R5 Mark II body itself weighs about 1.6 pounds. If you add on the RF 28 to 70 millimeters f./2l. lens, you're looking at a total weight of roughly 3.4 pounds.
Awesome. How does that compare to the original R5?
The difference in weight is pretty small. The original R5 is only a tiny bit lighter. You're talking about a difference of less than half a pound, so it really comes down to if you want the newest features on the Mark II.
Can you tell me what the population of Alabama is?
According to the latest census data, Alabama's population is a little more than 5 million people.
How many of them are as cool as I am?
I'm not sure how many people in Alabama are as cool as you, but I'm certain there's at least one other person out there giving you a run for your money. Joking aside, there's no way to know for sure. Everyone has their own unique qualities that make them awesome.
All right. I appreciate your help, Gemini.
Anytime. Let me know if you need anything else.
Will do. Bye. Sadly, I talk to this thing more than anything else. It's probably my best friend. Next in the world of AI is Pixel Studio. Now, this is Google's text prompt to image software. Now, they're saying they're doing this in all on device, and that's probably where all this RAM comes from. But if you can think it, you can create it, as long as it's not a person or human-like in any way. Like we had a lot of fun with this too. So we were just coming up with random things, you know, a blue tiger wearing a red hat, eating a banana in a bamboo tree. You know, it would just spit it out. They would even do objects. So my kiddo just got a new car. She's about to turn 16. And so we were like texting prompts of like what certain things would look like on her car. What would it look like with pink accents? What would it look like with white accents? What would it look like with black wheels? And it would pop up the car and showed it. I mean, it worked. It was really good. It's really responsive. You can type in like a desk idea or what a room with certain furniture would look like. Super, super cool. They claim it's all on device, but it didn't work when I had Wi-Fi turned off and didn't have a SIM card in it. Maybe it was because it just needed a SIM card, but it didn't work when basically there was no service. So a couple features that I really, really like about this. Now, I don't know how new they are to the Pixel 9. You know, I have used other Pixel devices, but this is the first time I really took a deep dive into it, put my SIM in it, and have been using it for as long as I have. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm truly going to miss it because it works so well with my home automation. You know, everything runs either through my SmartThings hub that's connected to my Google account, the thermostat, the doorbell, all the lights, everything is just so well connected through Google and works seamlessly. You can even set routines to your alarm clock. When I dismiss my alarm clock in the morning, my bedroom lamp turns on. It reads me the weather. It reads me any to-do things I had to do that day or reminders if I need to call somebody. It just all works so well. And Google is a software company. I know I say this for every Google video ever done. They're a software company. That's what they do. They're not hardware. They use other companies. Other companies have always made Google devices, but like all the way back to Nexus. But the software, it just works so good. Somebody pushes my doorbell, I can cast it to my TV. It's so good. It works so well. Another thing that I really thought was cool was their file naming. So when you take a photo in portrait mode and you import that photo into your computer, it says file number 12345 dot portrait or 12345 dot selfie, or if you do the add me, it's 12345 dot add me. Just the file naming is awesome. Samsung has not got that memo. It's just like somebody just scrambled a keyboard. It's always hard to find those files if you don't rename them before you send them. But talking about sending files, I have never been able to get QuickShare, which is their new file sharing system, which is Samsung's file sharing system. And, you know, I got Samsung laptop, Samsung devices, and I've always, you know, it's just like Apple AirPlay. You know, you just send between devices. I can send it to the TV. I can send it to my laptop, phone, other phone. I've never been able to get the Pixel to work with my laptop. I have to either send it to my Samsung and then send it to my laptop, or I have to plug it in USB-C. I think I know why. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I think it's because my QuickShare on my laptop is signed in through my Samsung account, and both of these devices are signed into QuickShare, or this is signed into QuickShare through my Google account. So this and that is Samsung, and then this is Google. I think that's why it won't even discover it. Now, these two will see each other, but this won't see my laptop. And I don't understand it. it's almost like a hard no for me to use this 100% all the time just because of that feature. That's a major part. Quick share is a major part of my workflow, and not being able to send it through my phone is kind of annoying. Almost a deal breaker, not quite. Like I said, the software works so good. I'm truly going to miss it. I really am. I hate to give it back. Alright, well that's going to do it for this one. Be sure to hit the like button if you found this at all helpful or entertaining. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Pixel 9 Pro and all this AI and the direction we're headed in. It's here. You might as well embrace it. It's not going anywhere. And it's only going to get better. So, as always, take care of yourselves. You know you deserve it. I'm Donny B, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.